Good evening. This is Spirit Journey. Today is Tuesday, January 21, 2020, and the time right now is 8:02 p.m. I want to talk to you about two visions that I had. One of them I had yesterday morning around 7 a.m., and the other one was today, early morning, around the same time. Let me talk to you about yesterday's first. I was, I had awakened, and I kept my eyes closed and just relaxed. And I saw for maybe 4 seconds at the most, this device, some type of mechanical device. I'm not sure what it was, and I wish I could have really gathered more detail. But this is what I saw to my best of my ability, what I saw. There were it reminded me of something like a stove. Like some of these modern kitchens, they have a stove and then another stove or some type of thing on top, and in between those two is like a gap. There was a gap of maybe 8 or 9 inches from each other, and it was about the size of a small oven. Not those big things, but like a small oven, that type of size. So that's like maybe 3 feet in height, a little less. And it was more like like a square, the size of both on the top and the bottom, square or rectangle. The dimensions were really, really similar. But I think the one on top might have been a little bit taller than the width. The one on top was a little smaller, so maybe 2 feet in height, and maybe the width might have been 1.5 feet, something like that. But what was interesting about the one on top, that was the part that caught my attention. It had a 3x3 pads on the front face of this structure. These pads, it looked like the texture of it looked almost like a rubbery, grainy texture. It was black or a dark gray in color, and these little square-like shapes were maybe 4 inches, 4x4, and maybe a 2-inch gap in between each of the pads that were 3x3. So they all lined up together, vertically and horizontally, 3x3. But I thought the shape was unique, even though it was square-like. The 4 corners were all very, very rounded, okay? And something to the sides, the vertical sides of this square-like shaped rubbery thing. Imagine that if you can take the sides of something like in the middle of the vertical portion of this square. Imagine you take the center of that and you're able to pull it out a little bit. Just pull it outward like a quarter of an inch. And it was like came to like a point. And so it's angled ever so slight. And it was like that on both sides. It just stood. I never saw that type of shape of something. It's all like square-like shape, but it had shape to it, So the four corners were all very rounded, but then the two vertical sides opposite each other came to a slight, angled, pointed outward, ever so slight. And then it disappeared, and this object or mechanical device, I believe it was indoors, but it was a relatively close view. Let me see. I was maybe arm's distance away from this thing. I've never seen anything like it, and I wish I could have seen more detail. No one was around, and there was daylight. Just walls. I didn't see any windows or artifacts, just this object. And then it just disappeared. My thoughts of what it was, I have no idea. I've never seen anything like it. And again, it was just so brief. Never seen anything like it. I don't have a clue. And then today's vision, I think it's also, yes, it was indoors. This one was, I saw this tile flooring. And I've seen tile like that before. The tile's dimension were square, approximately 5 by 5 inch squares. The coloring, it was kind of like it's really weird. It wasn't like an even texture of color. It was murky, grayish-like, and maybe with a tinge of brown in it. Really different. And it had these speckles as like a streak that ran horizontal, like the top part of it, like let's say an inch from the top, running horizontally, these speckles like a trail of paint, and they were white speckled, and this dark color that ran across each other, and this streak of speckle was maybe an inch wide, and all the tiles were like that. And I know when I was watching it, I said, I've seen things like this before. I've seen that pattern. And again, the other component about this was that the view of it was my looking downward. At least the vision of it was a view looking downward, but it was really close. it was as if I were maybe a foot away from the floor, so it's like looking really close. And it seemed like it was on an angle. That's what stood out. It was like it wasn't like looking straight down. It was like as if something was on an angle. So it kind of distorted the appearance of this flooring. I don't know where I was. There was no other indications of anything around in the room or what type of room. It was just strictly my seeing the floor. There was a lit room, but I never saw anything around, just the floor, and it was on an angle, and that the texture of the floor, it was something that looked very familiar. I don't know where, what country, um, anything. There was nothing to identify where it was, because my vision of it, what I saw, was very limited. And that's what I saw, and that was just for another couple of seconds, maybe another 5 seconds at the most of what I saw, and then it just disappeared. So it's interesting that the nature of the things that I'm seeing now, my visions, it's like it's interesting that I'll be noticing a floor. Remember some visions ago when I saw looked like a government seal on the ground. Something about the floor that captures my attention to this. And then another time, and an aerial view. And again, I'm noticing that there were people, but I'm noticing the carpeting. The floor sometimes stands out, and I'm not someone that's like into floors or anything like that, but it's interesting that for me to see what I'm seeing, why am I noticing the floor? Why am I looking at it? And what else? I feel it has to be something significant. And remember, in 2017, I noticed that when I first started to see locations, that vision was of the ground, that the ground had these white pebbles on the ground. It's really interesting. Really interesting. Does anyone else have an idea why I might be noticing the ground? Why in a vision? Why am I looking? Why is the thing that I'm seeing why is it just showing me the ground? So, yeah. So if any of you have any ideas why this could be, let me know. And again, this type of, whether it be an oven or some mechanical thing, it seems like it's getting more complicated, more complex, these visions. It's like I'm being allowed to see more. And I'm hoping that as time goes on, I get to see more and more detail. Why am I just seeing it for a few seconds? Something that almost seems like a fraction of a second, It's like when I get to like your brain has to register what it's seeing, and before I can really say, oh, this is such and such, it goes away. It's as if something is allowing me to see, but they don't want me to see too much. So why even bother showing me? Yeah. But it's really exciting because I've never seen these things. I've never been to these places. What are these things? Why am I seeing this? Have you people out there Are you seeing things? Are you seeing the same type of things that I'm seeing? Are your visions in the daytime, is it different than what you may see, let's say, at nighttime or in the afternoon? Do the type of things that you see, does it fluctuate according to your mood or if you eat certain foods? See, now I do eat, I'm eating a very high-fat diet, actually. I eat a lot of veggies, but I use a lot of fat in my cooking. And I am consuming now, what I have, meats, um, and desserts, sweets. I do. It's like I'm getting cravings again. And I'm really trying to cut back. But interesting, like when I first started having the visions, I was heavily vegetarian and vegan. But now it's like I'm more, the foods I'm eating I think is richer. So, but it's interesting, what I'm seeing now is getting more detail. So I don't know whether it's my maturity, that whether of my doing what I'm doing to get to see the visions, is it that I'm getting more relaxed at doing it, so I'm allowed to see more? Or is someone saying, okay, I'm going to entrust her with seeing what I'm seeing, Because I'm doing just from day one and to now, I'm doing the same process. So initially, my visions, or I should say my meditation sessions, they were done in the daytime. And what I was seeing were geometrical shapes. I think it's 2017, January of 2017, that's when I started to see actual places. Yeah, so all along, it was just geometrical shapes, spheres, and that's it, yeah. And only once I did see a face. My very, very meditating session, I did see a face. It was a man's face. He looked like a European, and it was dark lighting the image, but you could still see it. I mean, it's really hard to say. Like the background surrounding him was dark, and his face was illuminated, reflected light, but the texture of the light had a slight discolored look, almost like a yellowish greenish or greenish yellowish tinge. It's weird, or maybe even a slightly orangey color. It's hard to really remember, but it was like a distorted color. And it was the first and only time I saw that individual. He seemed like someone, my impression, he was someone from the past. My take was I don't know why I feel this way, like 1800s or early 1900s. It's just an impression. I mean, I don't know. So that was the only person's face that I saw. So that's about it that I have to share today with these two visions. But yeah, this is really, really telling, and I hope to get to see more profound things. Just what I can handle, I should say. Be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. But I'm just really curious about all this, and I really feel that something is telling me. I know, like I really start to wonder what my life is really all about. Why the type of life, things that I experienced. And I think as a result of seeing what do you call it? The orb, the white orb that I saw December 5 this year in 2020, I realized that people can be getting visitations. I witnessed it myself, and I started thinking, with all the bizarre things that happened in my life, that I think that I'm being guided, observed, monitored. I'm really starting to think this. And I'm thinking of this possibility also because years ago, I was in my early 20s, and I woke up from a deep sleep, and to my side I saw like a portal. It was a circular portal, and inside this portal or hole was a camera, a video camera, an old-fashioned type, pointing at me. And I got startled. It scared me. Then it just vanished. I am being monitored. And I was being monitored at that restaurant. Remember, you guys, I told you about the restaurant incident that happened in, it was 2018, May of 2018. I was with another individual, and something energetic hit me, and there was a communication, and it got me physically sick, and I had to go to the hospital. Tests said that there was nothing wrong. I mean, the heart was racing. They released me from the hospital once my heart was beating regular, normal. But all the other tests, like blood tests, stool sample, all that negative. My ears even were ringing. There was a lot of things going on. And so there's something about me. I think I'm being judged I'm being scrutinized very, very, very stringent. It's like I have to be perfect. I have to conduct myself a certain way. And I think I'm allowed to live where I live, that it's like something decided, you're going to live here. It's like I try to live in other places, and then boom, I'm pulled back. It's like you're to be here at this spot, and it's like they don't really want me to do other things, even occupations. It's really weird, and it's something that, without getting too personal, but it's taking care of me financially. And it's like, okay, we just want you to live here, and we don't want you to do commerce. We just want you to be there. Just exist. They don't mind me having my little dogs and walking them. They don't mind that. I mean, I'm really surprised. I didn't know I was going to talk about this. But this is important. See, I know I'm not the only human being out there that is facing and experiencing these things. People have to start sharing, because you don't want to feel that you're alone. Other people there are probably facing the same thing, similar phenomenon, and we have to share so we know that, hey, this is a phenomenon. It's really bizarre. This is like the more life goes on for me, the more bizarre. I feel that I'm supposed to live a higher standard. I mean, I know that sounds very arrogant, but I'm serious. I feel like it wants me to be perfect. It wants me to really have a very disciplined lifestyle, conservative, and I feel like, I was gonna say, like, I do think I'm to help humanity, and I think I'm greatly misunderstood by many. But I think maybe I'm to add a little something to humanity. It's very important to me that I leave this world to leave something beautiful behind. That's very important to me. And I see that people are so interested in things. I love beautiful things. Okay, don't get me wrong. I like beautiful things because they could have to enhance your life, for productivity and comfort. And it's a personal thing. It's not about thrown in people's faces. It's to add comfort to yourself and, to be a good human being for others. So, yeah, it's just really bizarre. I think I'm placed here in the neighborhood that I live in, type of work I do, and even with this YouTube. And I've told you guys on YouTube that, and I showed it the proof. I've done videos and showed the evidence of things being hindered. The economic portion, I should say monetization, is being greatly, greatly held back. Despite the subscribership that I do have, my videos aren't getting the type of views based on just the number of subscribers that I have. So it's almost like, again, we don't want you to make any money. We want you I like doing the videos, but it's like, you want to feel like you're making a mark that people are seeing, people are learning, people are understanding. Well, it is what it is. But let me know if any of you have ever felt like that you're here for a higher purpose in life. You're not to be like everybody else, and that you may feel that you too are being assigned to do something, to live in a particular place. Maybe you had paranormal experiences. Yes, I'm just reminded also, I had an experience in the Caribbean. I was in my vehicle and I heard something communicate with me. I mean, it was as clear can be, as loud could be. It was just, not like screaming, but it was so strong, the message. It was brief, and I was in my car, I was driving on the road. And after I heard the message may have lasted maybe 10 to 15 seconds. I don't remember whether it was male or female. It was the importance was the message. And I was so excited with the message. It was so profound. And I had to pull over on the road and gather myself. So that's what I'm saying. I think that something, I'm being watched. And that it gave me the message because it knew I needed comfort. And again, just last month when I saw the orb, I think that I am being monitored like an overseer of my life. And that it's structuring what I'm to do, where I'm to be, and who's not to be in my life. It's really weird. Wow. Boy, I'm really surprised I'm saying all this stuff. But I share with you these things to get it out there. Get it out there. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And definitely leave your comments below. And let me know if any of this information resonates with you. So you could also subscribe to my channel, Spirit Journey. Share this video with friends, family members. And if you really like this content, you may wish to donate to my channel. My channel name is Spirit Journey. And you just go to my channel, and there's a banner on top. And to the right of that banner, you'll see a PayPal me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompts, and any amount would be greatly appreciated. I thank you all in advance, and may you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Take care, all. Bye-bye.